Hello, thank you for joining me. My name is Okioma. I'm here to present the topic scaling up big data, big problem. My name is Okioma, and here is a brief overview of what is to be done. First of all, we're going to run through the application, then we'll come back here to explain the code. So for the application, we are going to start by entering the name of the application, which is Laurel Technology.py. Press enter. You will have a welcome screen. At the welcome screen, you can see a brief explanation of what the program is all about. Then we have the three data types we are going to be working with. Data formats: JSON. For JSON we have the customer credit card records. For XML contains the employment record, while for CSV contains the vehicle records. So when you enter, you come to the main menu, you will see the different steps that's supposed to be carried out from number 1 to 9. So it's very important to follow through these steps. Don't omit any step, go from the first to the last. So the last option there is 0, which is to exit the application. So to start running the program, you start from number 1, enter. Here is going to present to you the clean data from the JSON file after conversion. So after that, you go to the next step, which is number 2. So when you select number 2, it's going to do the same for XML file. After converting, cleaning, it's going to present it back to you. So you close it again, go back to the next step, number 3. For number 3, is going to clean the CSV file. Okay, it cleans the header and make it very okay for merging. So this is how we operate or convert the three files, cleaning and converting. So the next step is number 4. Number 4 is to convert all 3 CSV files to SQL database. We actually use database here, which is SQLite 3, to do the conversion, the merging, so that it will be easier for us to merge without using maybe other libraries that are not available for us to use. So we do number 4 to do that. So number 4 does, the first time it will run the credit card _TB, which is trying to convert the CSV file from the one containing credit card to this table. Then enter to do the next, which is going to be the employment _TB, the name of the table that is going to be created for you. Number 3 is CSV, the vehicle _TB, which is the original CSV file that was presented to us. So enter will take you back to the main menu. So at the main menu, the next step is number 5. Number 5 is to merge all 3 tables in SQL. Since we have them already in SQL, we just have to merge them together to form a unified table. So number 5 is going to merge them. You can see we have the table, that the full table. This is the first record, and it contains about 24 columns. So after merging, come back again to the main menu, you enter number 6. So for number 6 is to convert the merged SQL data to CSV. You press enter. It's going to bring back your table in a CSV format after merging. So we can see the last column here is address city. Then you go down, you see the last record. The last record is the 1000 record, which is for Helen Holland. It's actually 1001 because we have the header row on top of this place. So this is how we merge our table. So coming back again to the application, we are going to run the next, which is number 7. For number 7, we're going to perform the operations on data and update. This is actually the part that we need to look at the text file that was included in the initial input files. So when you enter number 7, it's going to show us the message. Okay, these are information that have been passed to and fro between colleagues in the organization. From here, you extract some of the tasks that are supposed to be attended to. So actually, if you enter, you see that you have 4 tasks here, and number 1 is to change Chambers credit card security code to 935. We have other ones, number 2, 3, 4, with different tasks. So to start implementing them, you select enter. When you select enter, you see that you have the task 1. It will give you the previous record. Previous value there was 953, which is the former credit card security code for Chambers. Then after implementing, it's going to give us the updated record, which is 935. So to continue to the next operation, you press enter. It's going to do that as well, implement it, and show us the implemented or the updated record. Now the next is number 3, and also finally number 4. So after resolving the 4 tasks, you can go back again to the main menu, and now this time around we're going to do number 8, which is to convert the updated merged SQL data to CSV. So at this point, we want to get back again to see what we have done. So immediately you do that, you're going to see the records again all together and updated. So since we are updated them, the next thing is to try and upload it to the server. That is done at stage number 9. So we select 9 and press enter. Here we have the menu for the server section. Here you can see some brief explanation of the steps to be taken. So we are interested in this place. Welcome to Laurel Technology Solutions. Okay, central server. Now at this point we have 4 options: the upload table to server, we have Q to query database, L to log into server. Because we have the table already existing in the database, it's not advisable to run U again. Before you can run this particular place, this U, you have to maybe go back to the server and delete or drop the table so that it will be free for you to upload again. So we don't want to have any error or have an issue at all. So let's just go to the next stage, which is Q. So select Q and press enter. It's asking us for an ID number. So we have about 1,000 record, so it's expected that you enter a value from 1 to 1,000. So let's say we enter 400 and press enter. It's going to show us the table, the records for this particular user. So we have about 24 columns here from this person. So we can also query again by selecting U again and pressing enter. So here again we can enter another number, ID number 600. Also is going to give us the records for that person. So let's assume we want to try and enter a value that is not existing, maybe 1200, 1200. When you do that, you will see that it gives you a message: the ID does not exist in the table. So this application was able to handle some of these exceptions or wrong inputs. So that is one of the things I did. So the next thing is to log into the server. I can use L to connect to the server. So it's going to open the server for us. So here at the server, you can see we have this is the table, the database name. Then from here we can see the name of the table, the central table that was uploaded initially. So we have this. Here we can also see the records, the column names, and the last one here is address city. Coming back again, you can see that we have up to 1,000 record here. So that is how we work on the, we're able to resolve or update our table here in the server. So this is now back to the application. We can go back by pressing enter. When you are here, you can select E to go back to the main menu. So to finally leave the application, to exit here, we select 0 and enter. So we're out of the application. So at this point, you can come back to the code section and maybe talk about the challenges I faced, the personal reflection, the obstacles, and how I resolved them. So you can see that what I used there is this. These are the libraries: JSON. The most important one here is SQLite 3. So this is what I did to, is a standard library from Python to help me manage my SQL database, like trying to join them or query them. So I didn't want a situation where I have to be connected to the server all the time to do the joining or querying. So I needed something internally to enable me operate, do it better or internally, because SQLite 3 helps you to have this your ability to run your code, your database internally within your application, and it's a very lightweight application. It does not require installation or any other additional library as well. So this is just a very good one for me to use. So what I did here is that I use it for my querying and for joining. For instance, this is the place where I did my joining, and it was not very easy because I needed to walk around it, look at the right syntax to use. Finally I got this. I was able to use inner join to join the 3 tables together. Then a big challenge I had was in the area of cleaning the database, cleaning the CSV file. I couldn't really get a grasp of the files names properly because they had, some of them have different names. For instance, the CSV file, you can see that there's a space in between the first name, so I needed to close it. The second name again has a different name from the other ones, which is last name, so I have to close the space and change the name as well. So age is also another field that needed to be worked on. So that was done, but the major problem was that I was finding it difficult to merge it with my records, so I have to handle it separately. After doing the cleaning, I have to connect the header to my records by using a for loop. This is the section that did that. So what you also notice that I use the functions properly very well here. Instead of just writing my codes like directly. I needed to break it down into functions. Now the reason for that is that I didn't want to make my code very lengthy, and I didn't want to repeat my codes, because some of these things, the tasks were meant to be repeated. So instead of just writing them over and over, copying and pasting, I needed to write a code once and just calling the function names to implement those tasks. So that was how I was able to handle that. So in the area of automation, and I was able to automate the program. First of all, I use a .py script instead of a Jupyter Notebook, because for Jupyter it is good for doing separate tasks. The kernel takes care of the structure, maybe, and the framework of your application, so you are just interested in doing what you are supposed to do just the present task. So with this, I took care of that. I used the .py script to handle that. So I made use of try, except, while loops, and probably a conditional statement. So with all these, I put my codes together and made it a unit, so that it shouldn't have issues and maybe break at the end of the day. So that is how I took care of automation. Then another issue I had while automating is in the area of database binding. First of all, this need to Python, sorry, not Python, Pony. So for Pony, it was kind of funny, because each time it tried to connect again or run a query, it would try to bind again to the database, and it cannot bind more than once. It will tell you it has already been bound. So what I did was I used a function to help me count the number of times I tried to connect or to use the bind function. So each time I try to bind, if it's more than once, it should allow me to do the next, so that I should not bind again. So that is how I was able to work on that to resolve that issue. So that is for automation. For the company, how to automate their operation, first of all, this is an ETL application, which is extract, transform, and load. So you cannot actually automate this. This is just for this process, just a straightforward process to load the data to the database. So for you to automate it, you need to add CRUD events or CRUD operations. So to do that, you have to include other queries that will do the creating, reading, uploading, and updating rather, and deleting. So that is for that. You need to add those ones. So it is beyond the scope of this project. So the next thing is for them to make it user friendly, because for you to automate your work, you can't be using a command prompt application just like the way I'm using this. So you need to make it more user friendly, like a Windows application or a web application. So it should be a form of a front end application with professional features like using React, maybe JSON, JavaScript, or using HTML and CSS to make it very, very good for users to work with, and make it very make it to be automated, okay, with some maybe stacks like Django or Flask. So I think those are the things we can add to it. Also, a very important aspect is the MySQL database system we use there. The MySQL is good, but the only thing is that for scaling out, I think it's not the best we can use. So we can try out some cloud applications like Amazon Redshift. So these are some of the things we can try to make it very good for scaling out and for working with big data workloads. I think with all these points listed, yeah, I've been able to show how we can use this application and expand from here. So this is the end of the application. Thank you for listening, and goodbye.